Hello everyone, my name is Ayodeji Alfred and you're welcome to my channel, a channel where I talk about money, investing and the attitudes that affect our personal finances. As a reminder, please do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Share the content of this video with your friends and family. So one of my goals for the end of the year is to move this channel to about 1,000 subscribers. So if you feel that the content on this channel is interesting and beautiful, please share with your friends and encourage them to hit the subscribe button as well. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about a very important concept, which is why tracking your savings percentage or tracking your savings ratio on a month-to-month basis is not really sufficient any longer. Now, I have been tracking my savings ratio on a month-to-month basis. In fact, it's I wear it like a honor badge on my chest and say that I save a high percentage of my income on a month-to-month basis, right? And this is what many of us do. So when we save, we invest in short-term financial instruments like treasury bills. What else? We invest in stocks, if that's a possibility for us. Some of us invest in the money market instruments and all the many investment tools that I have mentioned in my last video, right? But one thing then goes amiss if you then do a little bit of an exercise. So pick your lifetime income, which is every single cent or naira that you've earned from the day you started working over your lifetime of working. So if it's 5 years you've been working, pick your pay slip from the very first day you were paid an income up until your last pay slip and compound or add up the amount of money that you have been paid net position on a month-to-month basis. So that gives you a certain figure. Then the next exercise is also something that you then need to do. So you then need to discern or determine what your net worth is. For those of us who do not know, our net worth is simply an addition of all our assets. So that's land and buildings, cash in bank, everything that belongs to you or that has your name on it. For the purpose of this exercise, I'll really discourage including diminishing assets such as a motor vehicle, really, because if you check it out over a long period of time, what really is the value of that motor vehicle on your financial statement? It's really negligible and it depreciates on a per annum basis. So include your land and buildings, your permanent assets, and your cash in the bank. Now, do a simple comparison and say, what is my net worth? And what is my lifetime income? That should give you a certain percentage. If you get a percentage that is lower than 10%, then it means a lot might really be wrong. If you get a percentage that is above 100%, which means that you've amassed wealth, equal to or more than you've earned over your career as a worker, then that means you're like, I don't know, maybe a genius or whatever, and then we need to talk after this video and look for a way where you can include me in your will, right? Okay, jokes aside, in spite of the fact that I pride myself as someone who saves a very high amount of what I earn, I found out that when I did this exercise, my net worth versus my lifetime income ratio was really low, right, compared to my savings rate on a monthly basis. It then made me started asking questions as to where has my money gone to and what has happened and how I have not been a very good manager of my money over the last couple of years, right? So where did my money go? One thing I found was that in spite of the fact that I save a high percentage of my income on a month-to-month basis, what I was really doing was deferring my expenditure on a month-to-month basis rather than saving for the purpose of building or accumulating wealth. A simple example of this case is if, for example, you save 50% of your income, that's a high percentage, right? But at the end of the year, when you need to pay your rent, you dip into the 50% chest that you've built for yourself over the year and pick your rent, right, out of that amount to pay your rent. What that simply means is that you have actually not saved 50% of your income over the year, and you can really not be said to have accumulated 50% of your net worth from your earnings, because what you've just done is you've deferred your earnings, you've deferred your spending from right now to the end of the year when you need to pay for your house rent. Or another example, which is very common, is also you save up 50% of your income, and then sometimes at the end of the year, you like a shiny new device, just like me, you know, and then you dip your hand into it. You've really not saved a lot of your money. You've just deferred your spending to a later time when you can dip into these funds. Now, clearly, there are some expenses that you would also have made that you may not be able to include in your net worth computation. For example, if you're someone who's gone back to school since you started working, and then you've had to pay for your school fees, maybe you've had a professional course, you know, that you've really had to pay for, maybe your CFA, maybe your master's degree, or whatever the degree is, and you've had to pick from your earnings. Clearly, your lifetime income versus your net worth ratio would really be lower than is expected. And yes, you cannot really quantify your education and add up your education to your net worth, clearly, but these are some of just the limitations about this model. A lot of things would have happened that would have reduced your ratio to a ratio that is lower than you would have expected or anticipated, and some of those things might actually really be valid, just like the case of the education that we've mentioned here. But it's just what I think it's just a very worthy exercise to do, so that we can re-strategize and plan and focus again on how we expect to handle our finances. Let me know if this is an exercise you really like to do. Let me know if you've learned something new in this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, my name is Adedeji Alfred. Stay safe and peace out.